Leela Hotels for not only helping me out in my journey but also allowing me to be a part of their family. I think a big round of applause to Leela. So, as I was introduced, I'm Ricky. I'm a musician, I'm a composer and an environmentalist. And the only kind of music that I make is about the environment, about various social causes and things that are very strong and dear to me. The fact that I do not do film music means that a lot of you have not heard of me. But nevertheless, we are all here to try to change that. But so what I'm going to be doing is that the only kind of music that I make is about, as I mentioned, about the environment, about social impact around those areas, but most importantly about celebrating our country and what we stand for. Because I've always believed that, especially the younger musicians in India, we always feel that to get international recognition, one has to, create music in English, one has to create Western music, which is actually not true, because the musicians who have actually gotten international accolades all over the world, people like Pandit Ravi Shankar, people like Pandit Vishnu Mohan Bhatt, people like Anushka Shankar or Ustad Zakir Hussain, these are the people who have actually broken cultural barriers and gotten accolades all over the world. And these are musicians who have dug deep into their roots and made music based on what makes them uniquely Indian. And I think that's going to be really important for us to understand. So now coming to what we are going to be presenting today, every country has got a national anthem. Every country has got a national anthem, and every country is recognized by that particular national anthem and that piece of music. And that is the power of music. But at the same time, most countries, their national anthems are a little controversial, or some people like it, some people don't like it, or some political party creates some problems about the national anthem and says that this is not what is representing our country. Whereas India is very different, where the national anthem is the most revered piece of music that we have. Across political ideologies, philosophies, backgrounds, cultures, traditions, language barriers, geographic location, everybody in India absolutely love our national anthem. And again, when the first few notes of the national anthem is played, everybody feels a very, very strong sense of patriotism and love for our country and pride for our country. And I'm no different being an Indian. In fact, the first piece of music that I ever learned as a human being is basically the Indian national anthem, before I even learned nursery rhymes or before I learned lullabies. So the anthem and the music is completely in my blood, and it's something that I absolutely love with all my heart. It's a piece of music that is my favorite piece of music in the whole world. So in the past, I've created many versions of the national anthem. In my professional career, I've had a professional career in music for the last 24 years. In these 24 years, I've created 3 versions of the national anthem in the past. So one I created was for the COP21, that is the climate change conference which happened in Paris in 2015. So the Paris Climate Change Conference, or the COP21, was the largest conference of nations from all over the world. 195 countries coming together, that is world leaders, presidents and prime ministers from 195 countries coming together to try to understand what climate change is and how to mitigate the effects of climate change and create a future that is better for our future generations. So over there I created a version of the national anthem which is dedicated to the forests and wildlife of India, because I believe that all of us believe that India is much more than just human beings. India is defined by our forests and wildlife, our beauty is defined by our forests and wildlife, our sustainability is defined by beautiful forests and wildlife. And in fact, we as human beings have been in this on this land for only 3 lakh years, but our forests and wildlife have been here for 3,000 lakh years. So to signify all of this and to signify that even the forests and wildlife are a part of our country, I created a version of our national anthem, which was quite successful and played all over the world. The second version I created last year, that was in 2022. India has been home to a lot of refugees from all over the world, and these refugees who come to India, they feel very welcome in India. They feel welcome as if it is their new home. And some of these refugees are fantastic musicians. And some of them have been forced to leave their country because they are musicians. Sometimes they have left on the threat of death or under dire circumstances, just with the clothes on their back. They've had to leave the country, and India has been a very welcoming home for them. So along with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, that is the UN Refugees Organization, I created a version of the national anthem where I sang the national anthem along with 12 refugees from Sri Lanka, from Myanmar, from Afghanistan and from Cameroon. Fantastic singers. We created a version of the national anthem, and that national anthem was very successful last year, that version of the national anthem. This year, I've gone on to do something very, very special. and it's absolutely epic. It's the biggest version of the national anthem that I've ever created. So what I did was that I've collaborated with the Royal Philharmonic